Wait, can you check the camera? Is it still good?
Yeah, you're solid.
Okay. One more time. Hey everyone. Many of you know me as Jose Jaime Esquivel Patricio, Grand Admiral Darth, Jaime, or all these names that I've given myself throughout the years. I wanted to make this documentary just to wrap my life so far. I wanted to talk about my life, like when I was born all the way to now. It's just a nice little recap to explain who I am to you guys. I was born in Mexico, Toluca, when I was in 1996. And my parents decided to have a better life for me, so we came to San Jose, and that's kind of where I've lived through a majority of my life. I went to Almaden Elementary School, then I went to John Muir Middle School and Pioneer High School, so it's always revolved around this little local area in San Jose, and that's kind of how my upbringing came to be. So I feel like I'm very much a suburban kid, like a suburban white boy that's been Mexican washed. Oh man, I remember when I first started at San Jose State, I knew no one. I still think about it to this day. I knew zero people. Everyone where I graduated went to their own universities, and I just felt so alone on my first week of SJSU. I just felt like I did not belong anywhere, and I felt like I was an imposter. Like, why am I here? How do I make friends? How do I talk? How do I smile? How do I show that I'm friendly? And it's one of those things where I started asking questions that I didn't know the answer to, and I didn't know how to go about it. Luckily, that's where I found it. That's where I found a group of students called Student Advocates for Education, where I met some of my longest friends I ever had, and the ones that I still talk to this day. So it's one of those things where if you find your community, you find your people, you'll find your way. The biggest challenge has always been my citizenship, my legal status in the United States. Even though I feel like I was born here most of the time, I just feel like I'm part of I just feels hard grasping the idea that I'm different from everyone else when I don't feel like I'm different from anyone else. I'm like made of the same flesh. I'm made of this. I think alike like everyone else, except the only thing that stops me from being like everyone else is like I wasn't born in the United States. There's like this paper that says born in Mexico, and it was like born in the US, and that's makes me different from them, even though it's always been this like the same material, the same way thoughts and thinking, the same way to approach problems and solve them, but paper that sets us apart is what makes a big difference. I have to wait for Congress, I have to wait for the Senate, I have to wait for people to decide my fate. I don't let them decide my fate. That's why I decided to master's in robotics, and which is in mechatronics, and which is mechanical engineering under mechatronics, and hone in on that new field. And this talk is going to be on the design and development of a lightweight, high torque, and cost-effective exoskeleton. At the end of the day, I'm always trying to go back to what really inspired me, and that's always been science fiction like Halo, Interstellar, The Martian, or any movies that are related to beyond. Because I feel like in space, there's no borders in space. And at the end, that's what I like about thinking in a bigger way, is that this little Earth, this little pebble in the universe has all these humans, and there's so much beyond out there. And that's kind of what inspires me to just continue doing what I'm doing, because we're all the same. This is all fate, and this is how the struggle is what builds you. And if I had to go, like if you ask me the question right now, would I go back in time and try to change anything from my life? And I'll say no. I wouldn't change my status either, because it's my status, my legal status, that put these barriers and challenges in front of me. And because there's these challenges, I have to go beyond and break that challenge and find new ways, find new innovative ways to go beyond it. So I feel like the challenges that were put in place for me have kind of evolved my brain in a way to think differently from everyone else, or think in a different approach, because when there's a challenge, I'm always thinking, well, there's always a step B, there's always a step C, there's always something beyond. There's not really a barrier, that's just something temporary, and I just have to go around it. And for me, I feel like that's been my biggest strength myself, is how do I learn from others, how do I adapt myself, and how do I break this challenge that's just temporarily here.